Here we are in Arthur, Ontario, where Keith Harris has developed a new drink that he's selling to the world. We've all heard of maple syrup, and that identifies Canadian. Well, Keith is actually doing maple sap, adding flavoring, selling it to Japan, but importantly, he's working with Conestoga College to develop the pasteurization, the bottling plants, bioenterprise on business plans. So it's an individual who has an idea and is taking advantage of all the great infrastructure we have in Ontario and selling it to China, the world, and to our Canadian consumers as well.
The reason we thought of maple sap is because I couldn't think of anything simpler than tapping a tree and drinking the sap. So that's the big push behind our product, is a simpler life and a vision of health and wellness and sustainability. It's a coconut water alternative. And when I started doing the research of the uses of like birch water in Asia, across Scandinavia, and maple water in Korea, China, and Japan, I thought, what a great opportunity to take a Canadian product, okay, with very little processing. You take a maple sap, that iconic drink, and take it around the world. Now, the first time you taste it, you might not taste anything at all, but once you realize what you're tasting, that second, third, fourth sip, you can taste it right away. You know exactly what you're drinking. And it's this clear, crisp, refreshing drink that a lot of my customers are asking for. The cranberry, it's a light crispness of the cranberry, then the maple aftertaste. This actually has the most maple aftertaste right there. One of my more popular beverages is the blueberry. Very blueberry. We want to make sure we have the proper blueberry taste and the right sweetness levels. Strawberry is also very popular. That's made with a puree, strawberry puree. So that's real strawberry. These are all made with natural flavors, natural ingredients. Now, maple sap it's not really an exciting drink to most people. It's a very subtle taste. It's a taste that doesn't really excite the taste buds. When you get a taste like strawberry, it really just jumps right out at you. You know it's strawberry, it smells like strawberry. People recognize that. And I'm not so concerned about whether they like strawberry, blueberry, or cranberry. I want to get the maple sap in them. Okay, so there's no water in this at all. Just what comes from the tree. It's filtered by nature. Okay, and we put it in a bottle. It's as fresh as possible, and we add some very popular flavors so that everybody can have a try of it. That's how we go with that.
So we get the totes full of maple sap, and before we start anything, first of all, we taste the sap to make sure that that what the raw material we're starting with is of high quality. From there, and we test the sugar levels to make sure that's correct. Then the sap is pumped into vats, and we add the various juice concentrates to it. From there, it goes to a pasteurizer where it's hot filled at about 90 degrees Celsius. Bottle is capped, goes through a cooling tunnel to cool the bottle fast enough so the vacuum is formed, and then the product's labeled and ready for packing.
But maple sap is an underutilized product in Ontario. Believe it or not, you may think that maple syrup is expensive. It's really hard to make. It's very expensive to make. And the people who are doing it, those people that own the sugar bush, aren't making a lot of money on it. It's more of a tradition. So what's happening is these people that have the sugar bushes, they're getting a little bit old. They don't see the profit margins like they had. They're getting out of it. So selling the maple sap without all their expensive processing will actually rejuvenate the maple sugar industry. Because now you're not doing all that processing. You're not boiling it off. I'm going to buy it off you, or someone else is, and they're going to do the processing, and you're going to make your margins on selling the sap. Sugar bush owners don't even think of it as a value product. It's pretty much useless to anybody. I want a cup of maple sap. What's it worth? What's 10,000 gallons of maple sap? Now we're talking, right? The expensive part is the handling, because the maple sap has to be used up within 24 hours. You can't let it sit around. It has to be in that range of 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, it'll spoil. And if it spoils, poor quality is going to get to you, right? So you have to be very, very careful. That storage cost is very expensive. So let's go through the steps. Maple sap, the sap flows in the spring, late February to into April. And out of that 40 days, there might be 10 days or 15 days where the sap actually flows, special conditions, right? So it's very intermittent. And that's part of the reason why you can't bottle. You can't have a plant on standby waiting for the sap to flow. What we do is we take the sap in a refrigerated tractor trailer truck. I take it to the warehouse just near London in Baden, and we store it there at -20 degrees until we use it. Right now our production is about 2 or 3 times per year, where we need to thaw out the sap under controlled conditions. It's called tempering. So you don't allow that bacteria to grow if there's any in there. And then we process it after about 4 weeks. Our goal is to have it a monthly production run. If we get into China, we're talking to 2 Chinese companies right now. If we get into China, that could be millions and millions of bottles. And that could be more than 12 times per year. But that's what we're going for. We actually just got back from China in March. We went over on the Dr. George Sersner's program, the Rapid Response Fund. And we went to 3 major cities where we did presentations. We went to Beijing, Hangzhou, and Shanghai. And we have 2 companies now that we're still talking to. And when we talk to people like the Chinese, you have to realize it's a long-term type thing. They take you on, you develop a product for them, and you could have that foot in the door that nobody else has. And so you have to be like the first one there, and you have to impress them. The quality is really important. This symbol with the Canadian maple leaf is the Canada brand designation that you have to apply for, and a symbol of Canadian quality throughout the world. They look at Canada like the freshest, highest quality foods. Okay, we're working on that to make sure we maintain that reputation. So we have to make sure we have a perfect product. But if I can ship to Japan, or ship to China, or ship to Korea, I will be able to ship anywhere in the world. If I can meet a Japanese specification, there's no market that will be closed to us. We could supply all the sap they want to the United States, China, Japan, Korea. The Japanese are the #2 importer of Canadian maple syrup. So they already have a knowledge of what the goodness of maple syrup is. When we bring them a drink that they already culturally accept, they drink the birch water and maple water already. You put the Canadian brand maple stamp on there, right? You know, and they'll just drink that up, right?